trees towered above them, and the air was filled with the sounds of birds and insects. They walked for hours, following the ancient paths that twisted through the forest. As they ventured deeper, the sunlight grew dimmer, and the air became cooler. Finally, they reached the edge of a dark clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a massive baobab tree, its roots twisting and curling like snakes. The tree was ancient, its bark rough and cracked. But what caught Kwame's eye was the figure standing beneath the tree. A figure wrapped in shadows, with glowing eyes that seemed to pierce the darkness. "It's the Dream Weaver," Kofi whispered, his voice barely audible. Kwame took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Dream Weaver," he called out, "I've come to help you." The figure turned slowly to face the boys. "Help me." The Dream Weaver's voice was soft but filled with sorrow. "No one can help me, child. The curse has bound me for eternity." Kwame's heart ached at the sadness in her voice. "There must be a way to break the curse," he insisted. "Tell us how." The Dream Weaver hesitated, her glowing eyes dimming for a moment. "There is one way," she finally said. "But it is dangerous. You must enter the dream world and find the source of the curse. It is a dark creature that feeds on fear. You must defeat it to free me." Kofi gulped, his hands trembling, but Kwame nodded firmly. "We'll do it," he said. The Dream Weaver raised her long, thin fingers and began to weave a web of light. The threads glowed brightly, forming a doorway in the air. "Step through this portal," she instructed. "It will take you to the dream world, but be warned, once you enter, you cannot return until the curse is broken." Kwame and Kofi exchanged a determined glance and stepped through the portal. They found themselves in a strange, surreal landscape where the sky was purple and the ground shifted beneath their feet. The dream world was filled with floating islands, rivers of light, and towering mountains that seemed to touch the sky. As they journeyed through this bizarre world, they encountered creatures made of mist and shadows, some friendly and others hostile. They had to use their wits and bravery to navigate the dream world's many dangers. At last, they reached the heart of the dream world, where the source of the curse awaited. It was a fearsome creature, a towering beast made of darkness and fear. Its eyes glowed with malice, and its voice echoed with the sound of 1,000 nightmares. "You dare challenge me?" the creature roared. "You are nothing but children." But Kwame stood his ground. "We are not afraid of you," he declared. "We have come to break your curse and free the Dream Weaver." The creature laughed, a terrible sound that shook the very ground beneath them. "You cannot defeat me. I am fear itself." But Kwame remembered something his grandmother had once told him. "Fear can only control you if you let it," she had said. With this thought in mind, Kwame reached deep within himself and found the courage to face the creature. "Fear may be powerful," Kwame shouted, "but hope is stronger." With those words, a bright light began to shine from within Kwame's heart. The light grew brighter and brighter until it engulfed the creature. The darkness melted away, and the beast let out a final, defeated roar before vanishing into nothingness. The dream world began to shift and change. The sky turned a soft blue, and the ground became solid and warm. The nightmare was over. Kwame and Kofi found themselves back in the clearing, standing before the baobab tree. The Dream Weaver was no longer wrapped in shadows. She had become a beautiful spirit once more, her face kind and her eyes filled with gratitude. "You have done what no one else could," the Dream Weaver said, her voice now gentle and warm. "You have freed me from the curse. Thank you, brave ones." Kwame and Kofi smiled, their hearts filled with pride. "We are just glad we could help," Kwame said. The Dream Weaver nodded and raised her hand. A soft wind blew through the clearing, and the boys felt a sense of peace wash over them. "The curse is broken," she said. From this day forward, the people of Mbiru will no longer fear the night. I will once again weave dreams of joy and happiness." With that, the dream weaver disappeared, leaving behind a shimmering light that filled the clearing. Kwame and Kofi returned to the village as heroes. The people of Mbiru celebrated their bravery, and from that day on, they slept peacefully, knowing that the Dreamweaver was their friend once more. So, a moral lesson. The moral of the story is that courage and hope can overcome even the darkest of fears. When we face our fears with bravery and believe in the power of goodness, we can break even the strongest curses and bring light to the darkest places.